So we knew that the federals would be involved. We didn't know exactly in what form, so it was not a surprise that we're doing an overview, a forensic overview, and we welcome that, and as we do all oversight right now.
As with any other kind of investigation like this, we'll be cooperating. The governor has given us instruction to cooperate fully, and that's what we'll be doing.
Now, when we asked the governor if there would be a full reconstruction of the Washington Bridge, he said it is still too premature to decide if that's necessary. We're live in Providence. Caitlin Gelhaus, ABC 6 News.
Now to some other local stories we're following for you on this Monday afternoon. North Kingstown police investigating a crash that happened over the weekend. Police responded to the scene on Post Road around 5 o'clock yesterday evening. That driver, a 38-year-old North Kingstown man, hit a tree and had to be extricated. He was seriously injured and tonight is still in critical condition at the hospital. Police say speed did play a role in that crash. Some Foxborough residents living near Main Street losing power after a car hit a utility pole. According to police there, it happened around 10 o'clock last night. It closed the road between Weston Ave and Van Dorn Ave until 7 o'clock this morning. The driver of that vehicle, 55-year-old Stephen Mullins, was arrested on drunk driving charges. No one else was injured. The Bristol County DA's office identifying the person they say shot and killed a Newport man more than 3 decades ago. 20-year-old Brent Davis was gunned down at the Brickenwood housing projects in New Bedford back in October 1991. Witnesses were only able to identify the gunman at that time as Bobby from New York City. After reopening the case in 2020, investigators were able to ID the killer as Claudio George. George was killed during a robbery in the Dominican Republic back in 2006. MSPCA law enforcement is looking to identify the owner of an emaciating golden retriever mix. According to a spokesperson for the MSPCA, Brooke was brought to Angel Animal Medical Center last Wednesday in dire need of help. Now, that spokesperson says the 3-year-old weighed about half of what she was supposed to. If you know who this animal belongs to, MSPCA law enforcement and Brookline Animal Control ask that you give them a call. An ABC 6 News update at 4 o'clock. The Massachusetts man arrested last week accused of threatening local Jewish groups has now been arraigned on federal charges. Now, according to the U.S. Attorney's Office, 59-year-old John Reardon was taken into custody just this morning on a charge of using a facility of interstate commerce to threaten. Reardon is accused of leaving threatening voicemails to several synagogues in the Bay State. He's now being held in federal custody. New at 4 o'clock, a convicted Providence drug dealer in trouble with the law again after she was caught with drugs another time. State police say 44-year-old Kimberly Sneed was arrested on Friday in a multi-unit bust. Officers found cocaine along with fentanyl. They charged her with possession and other charges as well. Sneed was sentenced back in 2022 to 9 months at the ACI for conspiracy charges related to a drug arrest the previous year. She also faces a 4-year suspended sentence. If you see news happening in your neighborhood, you can share it with us through our Now Local News app. Your videos can earn you points. Then you can exchange those points for gift cards and other prizes. We might even show your video right here on ABC 6 News. To download, all you have to do is scan that QR code that's on your screen or head to the App Store and search Now Local News. Time for a check of your forecast. Let's bring in Providence now. Chief Meteorologist Jeff Banson, who joins us live in the Weather Center. A chilly start to our work week.
Yeah, it's going to be a very seasonally cold week out there, Tiffany, but fortunately we don't have any major storms on the horizon for the first time in what seems like a pretty long while. And that's good news for our rivers. They are still running a little bit on the high side out there. I was down by the Pawtuxet yesterday. I saw those elevated levels, and it'll be good to not pick up any substantial measurable rain throughout the course of the week. We've had a lot of it the last 2 months. In fact, a historically high amount. We'll have more on that coming up in a little bit. Right now, let's look outside. Temperatures are in the mid-30s. We do have some light to moderate snow showers out towards the Cape right now. There's also a little line as we put things into motion. You can see that line that just kind of retrograded from west to east to west across Rhode Island here. That's going to push into, looks like, Connecticut a short while from now. But outside of that, very localized in where we're seeing any snow falling right now. Again, it's mainly confined to the Cape and out to the islands. That will We have briefly reduced visibility as we head through this evening. It's not the worst visibility right now, but you can see those down to around 2 miles over Barnstable County from Hyannis over to Falmouth. That'll get better as we head through the overnight period. Eventually, those showers are going to taper off. Maybe a couple of flurries lingering, especially down at the Cape. Kind of that ocean effect as the wind blows over that relatively warmer water, and then we'll watch that little streamer just hangs out there just off of Nantucket as we go throughout the day tomorrow. But again, quiet weather and no major storms this week outside of being seasonably cold. Really, the only thing I have to look towards is maybe a brief snow shower on Thursday. And looking ahead to the weekend, that is looking bright and very, very chilly. We'll have the complete 7-day forecast coming up in a bit, Tiffany.
Bright is good, chilly not so much. We'll see you in a few minutes. Thanks, Jeff. Turning to a focus on our schools at 4 o'clock. Governor Dan McKee and other state leaders working right now to shorten and simplify the college application process. Officials gathering at Rogers High School today in Newport, speaking to students about the importance of filing for federal student aid. The application process usually opens in October, but this year was pushed back to December after some issues with that new simplified FAFSA application process. Officials say everything is now back to normal. The free application for federal student aid is expected to help students receive additional funds.
The CPI piece wasn't put in place for recent inflation, so that's something that FAFSA has reported that they are working on. The federal government is working on now.
So mark your calendar. Students have until June 30th to apply for federal student aid. A spokesperson for RIDE says they expect the application window to be on time next year. Just ahead on ABC 6 News, first at 4, a father in Maine dies a hero. How his community tonight is remembering him in the midst of tragedy. Plus, the pressure is on President Biden right now after 3 American troops were killed Sunday in a drone strike in Jordan, who they say is behind that attack. And Alex Murdaugh back in the courtroom today, but this time jurors were on the stand. We'll take you inside. You're watching ABC 6, Southern New England's trusted news source.
Look closer. Closer. Take a closer look. New at Jordan's. And now get up to 60 months, no interest. Welcome home.
Car accident? Now it's even better to know Mike Bottaro. If you think getting a lawyer is a hassle, I've got great news. At the Bottaro Law Firm, it's simple and convenient to hire us. We're here 24/7 for a free case review. You can call, text, or chat with us anytime, and we can meet you at any location, or even virtually. Easy, convenient, hassle-free.
Now that's good to know.
It's good to know Mike Bottaro. Call 777-7777.
Let's see what's happening in the aisles today. Uh-oh, Julie and Adam are shopping hungry again.
But look at all the sales.
Jules, you don't like spicy.
Yeah, but they look so good.
Barbecue, sour cream, classic.
Gotta try the ranch.
Okay, now I'm hungry. A roast? You sure about that?
Teriyaki sauce.
That's your hunger talking. You don't cook.
We do today.
We do today.
Whatever the moment, we'll meet you there. Stop and shop. Feed the moment.
The 2024 Pro Bowl games continue. Peyton and Eli Manning coach the league's best in the skill show. Plus, the AFC and NFC meet again in flag football. Touchdown! Sunday at 3 on ABC.
Are you ready for something new? For a fresh start to help plan your day? Wake up with us and we'll get you up to speed with breaking news and weather and real-time traffic reports
that get you on track to head out the door.
Make every day a fresh start. Watch Good Morning Providence.
Look closer. Closer. Take a closer look. New at Jordan's. And now get up to 60 months, no interest. Welcome home.
Happening across New England at 4 o'clock, a town manager in Maine is dead after trying to save his 4-year-old son from drowning in an icy pond. Authorities in Carmel say Kevin Howell and his son were crossing a pond on Friday morning when they fell into the ice. Howell was able to get his son out of the water and then told him to get his mom, who was about 1/3 of a mile away at their home. Howell's wife tried to rescue her husband, but she also fell through the ice. She was then rescued.
We were all shocked to learn of this tragedy. We really look up to Kevin as a leader. He knew the ins and outs of what the community needed. And he's just going to have, there's going to be a huge hole for us to fill.
A team of divers searched the area. They found Howell's body about 20 minutes later. Students in Newton, Massachusetts were out of school today for a 7th day, nearly 2 weeks after teachers there went on strike. NTA members continuing picketing as a bargaining team met with officials, but negotiations between the Newton School Committee and the Teachers Association are still stuck. This comes after the committee rejected a revised cost of living proposal from the union. Meanwhile, national recognition of the strike continues to grow. The president of the United Auto Workers sharing a message of support on social media today, asking the public to stand up for public education. Taking a look at news from around the world at 4, 3 American troops killed, dozens others injured after a drone attack in the Middle East. President Biden meeting with the national security team after the attack. The administration is blaming Iranian-backed terrorists in Jordan and is promising retaliation. A senior official says they believe the attack was mistaken for an American drone that was also in the air at the same time.
The options could be a surgical strike, meaning sending in a team instead of launching missiles from afar, sending in a team on the ground to go out and take out the personnel and not just the material that's being used in these attacks.
U.S. officials say they are closer to identifying the attackers. There have been more than 160 Iranian-backed attacks on Americans in Iraq and Syria. And while responses to those attacks have been calmer, this attack may call for a different response. Taking a look at national news at 4 o'clock. Convicted murderer Alex Murdaugh back in the courtroom today in his bid for a new trial. His defense team has accused a court official of jury tampering. The jurors themselves testifying today. Juror Z says her decision to convict Murdaugh of killing his wife and son was influenced by court clerk Becky Hill. However, she claimed the jurors influenced her decision, not Hill. Murdaugh was sentenced to life in prison last March. His attorneys appealed that decision, though, asking for a new trial.
Clerk of court had improper private communications with the jurors. The subject matter of those communications was the credibility of the defense.
Hill has denied the accusations against her. At one point in the courtroom today, the judge claimed multiple jurors were watching court TV coverage on their phones. All cell phones were taken away.